Hello, hello, hello. I am here to do week one of Roxy's weekly challenge. That is Rachel of Roxy Creations. I will tag her YouTube channel. I'll put it in the description box below. Doing things a little different than she did, but kind of with the same idea in mind. I've got my supplies here. I went ahead and coffee stained the time cards. She did use time cards. She left hers in their natural state. She likes the combination of old and new. I don't necessarily. I either want it to all look modern or I want it to all look vintage. So I went ahead and coffee stained the time cards. And since I had a bunch of extra coffee, I went ahead and just kind of dulled down this bright pink on these invoice sheets from my husband's place of employment, and I'm actually going to use them as backing because you see the back. You know, the coffee did soak through, and now that I'm looking at them, because they're not stark white, that was the main reason I was looking at covering them, was because of they were like white. I didn't want them to be like that, with the front being vintagey colors. But now looking at the backs, I may not cover them. Depends on how thick they turn out to be. So each one, you have your base, your base, whatever that happens to be. In this case, if I didn't have these time cards, I would use just a base cardstock, any kind of thick scrapbook paper, just any kind of heavier anything that you've got. You want it to be semi tall, but you also want to make sure that it's not so tall that it's not going to fit in a journal or fit in a pocket. This is 8 inches tall, 4 1/4 wide. So it will be a fairly big pocket that's going to be required to hold this when they're done. One of these will go into my Roxy Weekly Challenge journal, which I will put in there at the end of this video. I will glue it in there. And then the other two will go over in my stash box over there. So each one requires a base, a book page of some sort. Now I chose Edith Holden just for no other reason that I have a bunch and I never use them. I'm grabbing the wrong remote. Let's try to zoom in here a little bit. Now, if you're not familiar with Edith Holden books, it's kind of like the holy grail for us junk journalers. It is written in the most beautiful font. There's a story behind her life. She actually passed away in a tragic accident, and this is her family took her journals. She used to go out on nature walks every day, and she would document what she saw that day. And her family took her journals, her nature journals, and turned them into a book. And all of her illustrations, in fact, this one, whoops, this is one of her illustrations. And the other one, this is also one of her illustrations. So her books are full of her writing and her illustrations. It is still under copyright, so you can't photocopy it, but you are free to use it in its original form. Now, when Roxy did this, or Rachel, she folded over to the back, and then she left her back with, plain, but then there was some foldovers from the front. I wasn't planning on doing that because, like I said, my original plan was to cover the back. And I'm still not sure that I'm going to cover the back or not. I'm not super positive. I'm going to kind of go with my original plan, which was just to cut down, cover the fronts, leave the backs, and then if I choose to cover the back, it's a clean slate. But in my mind, if I was to fold 2 flaps over, I would be inclined to collage the entire back rather than to leave like just a spot here and a spot here with a decoration behind it. That is just my personal aesthetic. Hold on. Hooey, that sneeze came out of nowhere. Almost didn't catch it. So I am going to trim my images to be within the borders of this time card. That way I can decide what I want to do on the back, either today or at a later time. Now, she did 2 different kinds of cards. She did one where she did a decorative punching across the top and called it good. I think she might have trimmed her corners out down here too. And then the other one, she put an extra piece of paper behind it, hole punched it, and tied a string through the top. Wasn't a big fan of that design, so I have my edge punch here, and I have my corner rounder. So I will be rounding the corners on the bottom, decorative punching the top once it's all glued together and dry. That's the other thing. These punches do not like to work when your glue is wet. Just gonna throw that out there. This is a new thing for me too. I was watching a channel. I don't remember who it was. It was a one that I'd never watched before. And she used a toothpick holder. This is not a toothpick holder. It had a top that for sprinkling, so like Parmesan. Oh, yep, it's a cheese shaker. I'm like, let me see if the label says. But she used a toothpick holder to put her glue stick in. And she puts it in there upside down so that it doesn't dry out as quickly, which is a brilliant, because mine is usually sitting up like this and exposed to the air. But the other problem I have is that I'm constantly, I mean, if you've watched any of my videos, I'm constantly knocking it over, or my table shakes and my glue stick falls over. So I'm like, oh, brilliant. And I got a nice wide base because I'm a klutz. And so with a nice wide base, it stays up on its own. I can put it up there. It's out of the way. Upside down, not being exposed to the air and not being knocked over. Go figure. I don't know why I never thought of that. All right. So this is a modern day. Let's see, there's some more of her illustration on the back there. This is a modern day time card. And like I said, did I say coffee or tea earlier? I can't remember. But this is coffee dyed. And I wasn't planning on doing a whole batch. So all I did was put some instant coffee in here, a little bit of water, and just paintbrushed it on and let it go. Like I said, I had extra. So scooch. I'm going to go all the way over to the edge on this side. I had extra so I just grabbed that stack of pink paper that I had sitting beside me and just, same technique, just paintbrushing it on. Now with the not having the intention of folding this around the back, I need to tear this down a little bit. I just realized that I missed part of the white when I was doing this last night. This is a printed digital from, what was the Etsy shop? Junk Journal Essentials is the name of the kit. Junk Journal Studio, I believe, is the Etsy. I will double check and put that in the description box. And again, we don't throw this away. Can use that in collage or some other, whatever, whatnot. I'm probably going to be like looking for my glue stick a little bit until I get used to it being in one spot. So again, you got a book page, some other image. It's kind of a personal decision there. Do you want something that's busy or do you want something that's like plain? I didn't mind having something that was semi-busy. There's my good scissors. I cannot wait for my new storage to get here. My desk is a mess. Okay, I'll try. Hopefully these ones will be sharp enough. Just want to get this little spot in here cut out. I don't know where my good scissors are at. Can't find them on my desk. I just wanted to cut that little spot out right there. But anyway, I don't mind something a little more busy. And then this goes on top. And this is just any image that you have. You'll see when I get to my third one that it's not florals. And that's only because I could not find another floral that was tall enough. Now, I do have guest checks. I've got smaller time cards. I've got other business forms that I could use and do this when I, mass bake them. This is more about having the idea in the book for future reference. Keep catching edges. I was kind of scanning around trying to figure out where my glue rag is. But I don't see it anywhere. Just grab myself anyway. That's why I have 10 of them. No, I have 10 of them because that's how many came in the order. Okay. Put these off to the side. Now, again, I trimmed this down with the intention of following how Rachel did it. But since I've changed my plan on that, let's see. Up over the ledge, please. Gotta take a little bit more off the edge. And again, this goes over off to the side into the collage spot. Make sure you get those edges really well, unless you're planning on doing any kind of sewing. If you're going to do any kind of sewing on these, like sewing around the pieces, whether individually or as a whole, you don't have to worry quite as much about making sure your edges are glued. You know, but you still want them to be. I mean, so this one I went more to the left and left a nice little ridge there. And then this is going to be on this side. We're going to go right down that line. Same place. I'm pretty sure it's Junk Journal Studios. So I am a day late on doing this. Rachel posted her video yesterday, but I knew that I was getting my round robin package in the mail yesterday. And by the time that video, by the time the mail came and I was able to get that video going, it was so late in the day already. I was like, eh. But, that has also now put me behind on my Saturday Scrappy video. Alina of M's Scrapbusters. She was late this week as well, but for family stuff. She usually puts hers out on Thursdays, and then Gail is Scrappy Saturday. So I'm not, worried so much about Melina's being late because I wasn't going to do it till Saturday anyway. So that way I can do both my Scrappies on the same day. I'm paying the price for dinner choices last night. So today my nose is very stuffed up and runny, and my allergies are off the charts. I still have itchy, sneezy, watery eyes. I'm a mess. Since I'm not sewing these, I'm just making sure I get those edges really, really well. Now, if I choose not to back these, I will not have to, for no other reason than these are very thick. The Edith Holden pages are thick. There you go. Get that stuff down there. See there, they're pretty thick tags. So, this is cardstock. This is on a thick, printed on a very thick paper. I don't know, like sizing and all of that, but It's just the nature of her books. All of them are that way. Um, they're all printed on this really thick paper. Let's see. I'm like thinking, do I want to go ahead and use this one? Or just go ahead and use this since it's already cut out. No, I like the taller one. Let's see. I think I'm just going to go right here. And go a little past that line. Initially I was thinking just go down that line, but let's give it a little bit of extra character. So again, off to the side over there. Bringing this a little further down because I purposely kept this raggedy edge of the original of Edith Holden's book. This was like iron-on images. I've had them forever, so I just ironed them onto a piece of paper, and cut them out. And I've got a whole bunch of their images, but yeah, I thought this one was pretty. And like I said, I didn't have any more of. I couldn't find another Edith Holden that I liked that was big enough or small enough. They were either way too big or way too small. So I had to go into my stash and try to find something else that I would like on here. So this is fabric. Like I said, it was an iron-on thing. It's in a nice feel though. I like the way it feels. Oops. Okay. Just helping that out a little bit while I was fluffing the edges. I caught the edge and separated it from the paper underneath it. So it's kind of helping glue that down. Okay. Around my bottoms. These might actually all be low enough that I don't have to wait for anything to dry. that out of the way. Put my ruler up since I shouldn't need it any further. Can't believe I'm down my last 2 pages in this glue book. Gonna do some collaging on my glue pages. Okay. This is a Martha Stewart edge punch. And so if you've never used one of these before, you want to go kind of in the center, and then you come out here and line up what you just punched with the image, put it up against the top, and then that punches out your other edge, and then you repeat on this side. The hard part sometimes is figuring out where it's lining up. There we are. Come on. Got stuck in there. So I'm just going to trim this off. It gives you a nice little edge up top and a nice mess underneath. What's going on here? There we go. Come on. I don't know why that side is not wanting to punch. This has got hearts, so I'm going to do my other punch. This is also one of my favorites. Let's try to start right in the center. As that gives you the center, right? If you started on the edge, then when you get to the center of your piece, it may be all cattywampus. So just a simple little lacy. There it is. Give the edges a some attention. Walnut stain. Which I may have to get out. I don't know if I'm going to have enough on my dauber for all 3 of these. Nope. Already done. That's okay. That's why I have all those inks, right? Oh. That's the other thing about the Edith Holden pages is that they're a little more resistant to inks than some of, other papers that I'm used to working with. It's less porous. Let's pull down Roxy. Which one am I going to put in my book? I think I'm going to put these 2 in my stash. I'm going to put this one in my book. Now for right now, I'm just going to pin it because I do need to create a pocket. In fact, let me do this. Go grab my pocket box. Which, mind you, is badly overflowing and can't really grab it. Because right now there's stuff set next to it and stuff in front of it. So if I grab the box, everything's gonna topple. These are all the same width. I think this is going to be too narrow as well. Yep. That's one problem I'm definitely going to run into using these cards as bases, is that most of my stuff is going to be too narrow. I did find these pockets off to the side over here. I haven't filed them away yet. These were all too narrow. So I'm just going to use this pocket right here. This is actually one pocket here, 2, 3, 4, 5 pockets all in one. I didn't think about the pocket ahead of time, so I gotta wait for my glue to settle. Oh, good. I'm glad it's going to flow nicely because I actually fell asleep the other night. Well, I didn't fall asleep. I was falling asleep in my computer chair. And so I got up and I went to bed last night. And when I came into my craft room this morning, I realized I left my glue open. Fortunately, it was upside down in the holder, so it was, wasn't completely exposed to the air, but still. So I was kind of expecting it to be stubborn. So something for me when I go to use these is I have to remember my page is 8.5. This is 8 tall. So if I'm doing a pocket, I need to make sure that I'm not putting my pocket too high up on the page. Otherwise, when I stick this in here, it's going to stick out the top. You can see how close that is. I also don't want to push it all the way down because my glue is not wet yet, and I don't want to glue it in there. I don't want to push it into the glue and then it gets stuck in there, But yeah, so by gluing, and you don't have to glue the 3 sides. You could glue the whole side and just have it completely down and not have this back pocket. But if you glue it just in that U shape, you'll have a pocket here. You have a pocket here, one here, and one here. 2, 3, 4, 5 pockets. So that is Roxy's weekly challenge, week 1. And as soon as that finishes drying, I'll push that the rest of the way down into that pocket. So thank you for tuning in. This is a 52-week challenge along with my other ones that I'm doing. So there'll be at least 4 of those crafting videos every single week. Tuesdays at 6 is the live Marguerite Miller crafting challenge that I do with my daughter. Her channel is Mini Maker. I will also have that in the description box below. Please give her a follow. She is primarily a crafting channel, but she's kind of trying to build her subscriber base as well. And as soon as she gets to 50 subs, we can start streaming from her channel as well as this one. So it'll go on both channels simultaneously, just to get to 50 subs first. So please hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to my daughter's channel if you so wish. And stay tuned. We'll catch you for the next one. Bye.